Okay, so first and foremost, the reason I want to go over this slide is because this is the slide where you are setting up the chess pieces, right? This is the slide where you're letting them know, letting the client, potential client know exactly what your intent is, right? Although this is for Gabrielle's training, right? You're letting them know three things that you would like to accomplish throughout the presentation, right? And one of the reasons that you have got to master setting appointments is because of this slide right here. Everything can happen at the KT, okay? Everything, all right? So we know your time is valuable and we want to honor your time. So first and foremost, there are one or all three things that happen when we go through the presentation. The first one is excitement. And the reason why people get excited is because they start thinking about people who would benefit just from hearing this information. Okay, so if you can think of anyone that would benefit from hearing this information as we go through the presentation, we would love for you to refer those people to Gabrielle. You're setting it up for referrals, you all. You're letting them know, you're planting the seed right there that throughout the presentation, right? If you know of anyone, if you can think of anybody that would benefit just from hearing this information, we want you to refer those people to our trainee. Okay, that's important. It's important that you emphasize on excitement. Very, very important. I remember the first time Shaq came and sat down with T and myself. The first thing I thought was, man, everybody, all of my family and friends need to hear this presentation. That's the first thing I thought, right? And sure enough, when we got licensed and through our training, that's what we did. The second is value. If there's a need for our products and services and you value what it is that we do, we would love to earn your business. Think about that. If there's a need and you value, we would love to earn. Need, value, earn. Huge, 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 huge. Those three words that stand out, right? Very descriptive. Adjectives, I believe it is. Grammar school. That's the adjective, y'all. Give me thumbs up. Anybody know? Is that an adjective? Debbie shaking her head. No, not an adjective? No? Okay. Well, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That's important because we're setting it up for if there's a need, we're going to fill that need. We want you to become our client if you see value in what it is that we do. And then partnership. We are expanding. We're looking for people right now, right? If you happen to know of anyone, you happen to know of anyone that's looking to earn an additional $1,500 a month, working from home, online, part-time, we would love for you to refer those people to Gabrielle as well. So this slide right here, you all, very, very important. Don't fly through this. Make sure you hit every point: excitement, value, partnership. Okay, and again, this is why you have to master setting appointments, because everything can happen at the kitchen table, at the qualified appointment. I'm still normal, kitchen table, at the qualified appointment. Okay, so you got to make sure you line this slide up perfectly, right? This is after your introduction. After you go through what you're doing, you got to line it up. All right, now let's go to the 4 ways to protect your income. I'm gonna start from this slide right here. All right, so Gabrielle, can you role play with me, please?
Yes.
So, Mrs. May, what is the worst thing that can happen to a family that will cause permanent financial devastation? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Death.
That's right, death. So in this example here, we have Mr. and Mrs. They have children. They both earn $3,500 a month. They bring in $7,000. That is their monthly income, and they have children. Okay. And they also have their monthly bills. They have mortgage, cars, insurance, credit cards, utilities, groceries, and childcare. Their monthly bills equal 7,000. So as you can see, this couple is living paycheck to paycheck. They bring in 7,000 and their monthly bills are 7,000. What's going out? So looking at those bills, which one of those bills can be just taken away?
None of
Can any of
them.
those bills be taken away? Absolutely. None of them can be taken away, right? So Mrs. May, if this were to happen, if the husband were to pass away, what will this family lose?
Everything.
They lose everything. You
Yeah.
cheating, Gabrielle. They don't say all that. You saying all the right answers. But typically, you all, when you say if this were to happen, what would they lose? They say they would lose half of their income, right? You want them to elaborate on that. From losing half of his income, what will they lose? They'll start saying they'll lose the house, they lose the cars, right? They'll start going into exactly what they would lose. That's important because it's not just the income, right? They lose everything. They're already living paycheck to paycheck. At the beginning of the presentation, what did we say? 78% of Americans, 8 out of 10 live paycheck to paycheck. That's one of the financial challenges. That's the first one. 8 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's 78% as of January 2019, you all. So right there, that example is following up the statistic that we gave in the beginning. That's huge, right? So when they say they would lose half, you want them to elaborate on what half is. What is that income? What does it take care of that they would lose? That's important. Okay, so we are the solution. Okay, we help you build your financial house. So Mrs. May, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent?
I'll say about a 10.
Okay, a 10, awesome. And what does financially independent mean to you?
Comfortably living, not paycheck to paycheck.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when you say comfortably living, what does that mean?
You can pay your bills, you can go do your extracurriculars, have a little extra cushion, I guess.
Okay, all right, awesome. So this is your financial house. Okay, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, income protection, that is the foundation. Life insurance is the foundation of any financial program because your ability to bring in income, that is your biggest asset and we have to protect it. Okay, do you have children, right? What are your children's names?
Jordan and Michael.
Okay, and how old are they again?
6 and 8.
Okay, right, so you're like an ATM machine to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your income drives everything. It drives your retirement, how much money you put away for retirement. It drives putting away for college for your 2 children, as well as paying off your debt.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mrs. May, when you look at this financial house, what are the 2 most important to you right now?
Probably college savings and debt elimination.
Okay. College savings and debt elimination. All right. Awesome. So let's go over income protection. That is the foundation. Okay. Now there are 4 ways to protect your income. Also, you all, when you're going through the presentation, make sure you're taking notes, right? I know Shondella and Josh are going over the data collection. That's very, very important that you're doing that, right? Because as you're taking notes, excuse me, y'all, hair getting in my mouth. As you're taking notes and you are, if you have a carry back, you have all of that information to relate back to them when you have that home game. So that's important. If you're not taking notes, make sure you're taking notes and make sure you're using that data collection. Very, very important. All right. Now, Mrs. May, there are 4 ways to protect your family. Okay. So how much coverage do you currently have right now?
I'm not really sure. I know I have it with my job.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel you are overinsured, underinsured, or not sure?
I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Okay. You're not really sure. You don't remember how much you had. How long you been on your job?
5 years now.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Would you be able to get a copy of that group insurance?
I should be able to pull it up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So let's talk about group insurance. That's the first one we're going to talk about first. Okay. So employer coverage, group insurance, this is through your job. Okay. So Mrs. May, let's pretend that this is your group certificate through the state of Maryland. Okay. Let's say you go sit with your attorney and you say, hey, Mr. Smith, I have a group certificate through my job. This is all I have. I don't have anything else. If something were to happen to me, I want to make sure my 2 children are taken care of. Okay. Now, Mrs. May, the first thing Mr. Smith is going to tell you is, well, that's great, but you are not the owner of this policy. The state of Maryland is. You're just the insured. Mrs. May, how would that make you feel?
A little confused.
Yeah. A little confused. Why you say a little confused?
Because it's mine, right? It's like I should be the whole, like it's on me. Right?
That's the assumption, right? That it belongs to you. It does not. It belongs to your job. Okay. And take a look at this. There's a clause. Okay. It says, can this certificate be amended? yes, we retain the right to amend this certificate at any time without your consent. That means they can change it. They can do anything they want to it, although this is for your children without telling you, without your consent. Okay. And then there's also what is the actively at work requirement? Okay, Mrs. May, can you read that for me?
Uh, to be eligible to become insured or to receive an increase in the amount of insurance, you must be actively at work, fully performing your customary duties for your regularly scheduled number of hours at the employer's normal place of business, or at other places the employer business requires you to travel. If you are not working due to illness or injury, you do not meet the actively at work requirement.
Were you aware of that with your group insurance policy?
No.
You seem very surprised. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So take a look at this, right? So for example, we're in a pandemic right now, right? If someone gets diagnosed on the job, what do they do to the people who've been in contact with that person? What do they do? What do they tell you to do?
Go home and quarantine.
For how long?
2 to 3 weeks.
Are you actively working?
Yeah.
No,
No.
no. So what does that mean for your insurance policy, your group certificate?
Oh, it's not in effect.
That's right. You're not eligible. Now, what if an employee were to pass away and they're not actively working?
They
Right.
don't
A
get.
lot of employees are not aware of this clause right here. During this time, right, this is the most important clause to be aware of. Because if you come in contact with someone, right, you're sent home to quarantine for 2 to 3 weeks and you come up with uh, coronavirus. And if someone passes away and they're not actively working, they may not have their insurance. Now, who will want to take that risk?
No
No
one.
one, right? And then there's the termination clause. It says, when does your coverage terminate? Coverage ends on the earliest of the following. We highlighted number 4, the date the group policy is amended so you are no longer eligible, or the date the group policy ends. Okay, so one of my business partners, his mom's friend worked for a GW hospital for 41 years. Can you imagine working for a place for 41 years, all your whole life, right?
Whole life.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer. Okay, so she was sent home to do chemo. She called to check on her group insurance, and they told her her group insurance was terminated. Okay, so she had been working for a GW hospital. This is a very known hospital in the DMV area. For 41 years, she called to check on it. It was terminated. It was a $250,000 policy, terminated, because they told her she missed a premium payment on her policy. Because she wasn't actively working at the time, she was no longer getting her check. So the money did not come out of her check, hence the policy was terminated. They did not even contact this woman about her policy being terminated.
That's crazy.
Okay, so there we are again. The date the group policy is amended so you are no longer eligible, or the date the group policy ends. They can terminate you. They can amend it if you're not actively working, right?
Right.
So we have a short video for you. It's about 2 minutes long. It's in regards to group insurance.
Okay.
Then we play the video. So you all, when you go through group insurance, you have got to destroy the heck out of group insurance, because they have group insurance. You should be helping them apply for life insurance today, the first appointment right now. There's no need to wait. You don't own it. It does not belong to you. If someone on your job gets coronavirus, right, and you come in contact with that person, you are sent home, right, to quarantine for 2 to 3 weeks. You're not actively working. If you have it and you pass away, you don't have insurance. Who wants to take that risk? You got to hit home on group insurance. This one right here, app, you're helping them apply today, right? No ifs, ands, buts about it. Even if they say, I don't think mine works like that. Okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what if you were to leave your job? Can you take it with you? Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what if you become sick and you're not actively working and you can't work on the job anymore, right? You got to overcome it. As soon as they throw it, you got to throw it right back. You got to be ready, right? There's no reason why you should not be helping them apply for private insurance if they have group. You got to destroy it. The video is a game changer. If you're not playing the video, make sure you play that video. That video is a game changer. All right. We got questions on group insurance. Hold on, let me check the chat. Wow, 7 million COVID cases in the US. See? So there you go. All right. Now let's talk about the two ways to privatize. The first one is cash value insurance. That is protection, and then you're building a savings account as well. So what happens is you pay into your insurance every month. A portion goes to insurance, a portion goes to building a savings account within that policy. Okay, so let's talk about how that works. All right, so we're going to use a bank as an example of how the savings is within the whole life insurance policy. First and foremost, Mrs. May, are you familiar with whole life at all?
A little bit.
Okay, what do you know about whole life?
So like what you said earlier, like it's a savings and, you know, that's what you're doing both at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, so when you put your money into the bank, would you prefer Bank A higher rate of return, or Bank B, a lower rate of return?
Oh, Bank A.
Absolutely. Once your money is in the bank, would you prefer Bank A, your money to belong to you and be liquid, or Bank B, your money to belong to the bank and you have to borrow it?
Bank A, be liquid, me.
Absolutely. Now, when you pass away, would you prefer your money to be passed to your survivors, Bank A, or Bank B, your money to be kept by the bank?
My survivors.
Absolutely. Now, Mrs. May, would you knowingly purchase a whole life insurance policy? Knowing that that's how it worked, would you purchase a policy like that?
No.
Absolutely not. It has a lower rate of return. You have to borrow your money, your own money. That's like going to the bank. You have to pay your mortgage. You have to borrow the money that's in your bank account, your hard-earned money. And if you pass away, they keep it. Now, if you unknowingly purchased a whole life insurance policy, what would you do?
We'll try to get out of it.
Absolutely. Try to get out of it, 100%. All right, then we go through the video, right? Make sure you're playing that Dave Ramsey video. That Dave Ramsey video says everything that we don't say, right? And then you go through the policy. This policy is the bomb. I love this policy because it breaks down exactly what we wanted to show within a whole life insurance policy. Okay, and you all, I had a whole life policy when Shaq came to sit down with me and T. I had a whole life insurance policy through Liberty Mutual. I had $250,000 for $200. This agent did not explain to me the type of policy I had. He did not explain to me how much coverage I needed. He did not explain to me the different ways to protect my income. He just asked me how much can I afford. I said about 200. He put me in a policy for $200. That's exactly what he did. Okay, I knew nothing. I had heard of whole life, and I knew my grandparents had it. And I knew my uncle had it, right? And I knew other family members had, but I knew nothing about whole life, nothing. I just knew I had insurance and you couldn't tell me nothing about it. And I had a whole life policy on my son, and T had nothing. Go figure. That's how ignorant we were when it came to life insurance. And the agent didn't even attempt to get my husband to get insurance. Think about that, right? And he was working. I depended on his income. So did my son at the time, right? So this policy, make sure you're going over it and make sure you destroy it. Destroy. All right, Mrs. May. So this is a whole life insurance policy through Massachusetts Mutual Life Insurance Company. It's $100,000, and it's on a 29-year-old, and her premium is $90.48. Okay, so she's 29. Her face amount, her coverage is $100,000, and her premium is $90.48. Okay, now this is the cash value chart. This is the savings that's being built within her whole life policy. Okay, now remember, her premium is $90.48. Okay, so let's do the math on that. So $90.48 times 12, that's $1,085. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So her annual premium is $1,085. Now, let's say $1,085 times 2 years worth of premium. She's put in $2,171. Okay, for 2 years. Now, take a look at the highlighted area. This is how much cash value that has been built up within that policy the first 2 years, and she's put in that $2,171. How much cash value was built up in that policy? Can you see?
Zero.
Zero. And she's put in $2,100. She has zero in her cash value. Think about that really fast. And then the third year, she has $782. Now, this whole life cash value chart is from 2011 all the way until 2045. That's 34 years. Okay, so take a look at this. You remember where her annual premium was?
Was it 1,000? Like
1,085. So let's multiply her annual premium by 34 years. That's 36,890 that she would have put in over that 34-year span. Make sense so far?
Yes.
Every year, her annual premium is 1,085. For 34 years, she would have put in 36,890. Got that so far?
Yeah.
Awesome. So take a look at this. If you look at the end of that 45 years, how much her cash value has built up to, it says 46,513. Okay, so she's put in 36,890 and built up in her savings is 46,513. Now, Mrs. May, is that a good investment or a bad investment?
I mean, it's not great.
How much has she earned over that 34-year span? If she's put in 36,890, she has 46,513. How much has she earned over that 34-year span?
She's only earned what, 10,000?
$10,000. You think that's good? You think that's enough for retirement?
No.
That's a terrible investment. She would be 58 years old in 2045. She got the policy at 29. In 2045, she'll be 58 with $10,000 that she would have earned off of that 36,000. She could have put money underneath her mattress and made more money than she'll make in this policy. Okay. Now let's take a look at what we did for her, right? We put her in a 30-year term from age 29 to age 58, 30 years, right? 100,000. Her premium with Mass Mutual was $90. With us, it's $25.75. We've already saved her $64. Think about that, right? With Mass Mutual, her premium is $90.85. With us, it's $25.75. That's a $64 difference. So what we did for her, Mrs. May, we showed her how to invest the difference. We call this buy term insurance and invest the difference of what it was versus that whole life policy. So $64, we put it into the market. At 6%, it's $64,896. At 7%, it's $78,858. At 9%, it's $118,551. Now, is that a good investment versus what she had?
That's a very good investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So all around, the premium is $64 less, and helping her invest the difference, right? The investment is better as well. We call that buy term and invest the difference, right? She gets a higher rate of return. She doesn't have to borrow her money. If she has an emergency, she can get her money. That's her money, right? And when if she passes away before retirement, guess who gets her money?
For survivors.
Her survivors. And they get the insurance. So they get the 100,000 and they get whatever saved in her investments. That's amazing. So we call that buy term and invest the difference. All right. Now let's talk about term insurance. Term insurance is protection only, no bells and whistles. It's not bundled with the savings account. It's strictly life insurance. God forbid, client passes away, right? There is a claim that's delivered to the survivors. And this is what the experts recommend. Okay, Dave Ramsey, who was the video that we just watched, the financial expert, he says term life insurance is the only insurance I recommend. It's the least expensive way to get the coverage your family needs. It's more affordable than you think. Susie Orman says most of us only need a life insurance policy for a set period of time until the toddlers are adults and supporting themselves, or until we have time to build up our own assets. Are you familiar with Susie Orman?
Sounds familiar, but not really.
She's amazing. You gotta look up her videos. She's a beast. I like her. All right, so this is industry term versus Primerica term. Not all term life insurance is created equal. Let's talk about the industry term. Industry term being all other insurance companies outside of Primerica that market term insurance policies, okay? Industry term converts you to cash value. They have a conversion date where they want you to convert to whole life. We don't want that, right? Whole life is not appropriate for everyone. Unaffordable renewal rates. They skyrocket. They become unaffordable. if healthy, you can improve your health, right? So Mrs. May, what is it with most people as they get older? What happens to their health?
It declines, it deteriorates.
It declines. So do you think it'll be an issue attempting to improve your health at the end of every term?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So let's take a look at this term example through State Farm. Okay, this is a select 20-year term on a 33 and a 32-year-old male and female. They have 1.5 million, 20 years, and their premium is $138.27. Not bad. That's not bad for 1.5 million, okay? However, take a look at what it says in the description of the coverage. It says, after the first 20 policy years, premiums increase significantly. These premiums continue to increase annually. Okay, so it tells you in the policy that your premiums are going to increase significantly, and then they're going to continue to increase annually. So it's simply telling you that, right? And then they show you the chart to show you exactly what it's going to look like. Whoopsie. You see that there?
Mm-hmm.
So the first 20 years, it's the $1,660 a year, the $138 a month. And then from year 21 to year 30, look at that, it goes to $55,583. And if you want to keep it for 35 years, it goes to $91,194. $55,000 is $4,600 a month. That's a mortgage and then some, right? So here's the thing. People say, well, Shay, I may not need my policy after that 30-year mark. Now, Mrs. May, can you guarantee me that you will not need that policy after 30 years? Can you guarantee that?
No.
Absolutely not. So would you want to take that chance of knowing that your policy is going to go up annually?
No.
Absolutely not, right? So let's take a look at Primerica term. Primerica term has a guaranteed conversion. What that means is you can convert to another term, but you don't have to prove